Hi students. Today we are going to start the chapter called Control and Coordination. Chapter 7 Control and Coordination. As you know, all the living organisms respond and react to changes in the environment. The changes to which the organisms respond and react are called stimuli. The changes in the environment to which the organisms respond and react are called stimuli, such as light, heat, cold, sound, smell, touch, etc. Both plants and animals respond to stimuli but in a different manner. Control and coordination in animals. It is brought about in all animals with the help of two main systems. The first one is nervous system and the second one is endocrine system. Control and coordination in animals is brought about with the help of two main systems. The first one is nervous system and the second one is endocrine system. First of all, nervous system. Control and coordination are provided by nervous and muscular tissues. Nervous tissue is made up of an organized network of nerve cells or neurons and is specialized for conducting information via electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. Nervous tissue is made up of an organized network of nerve cells or neurons and is specialized for conducting information via electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. What are receptors? Receptors are specialized tips of some nerve cells that detect the information from the environment. Receptors are specialized tips of some nerve cells that detect the information from the environment. These receptors are located in our sense organs. For example, ear is having phonoreceptors. Phonoreceptors. That is for hearing and maintaining balance of the body. Phonoreceptors are for hearing and maintaining balance of our body. Eyes. In eyes you can see photoreceptors. Photoreceptors are present in eyes and that helps in seeing objects. Okay. And in skin we can this thermoreceptors are present in skin that detect heat or cold stimuli. Thermoreceptors detect heat or cold stimuli and touch stimuli. Okay. Nose. We can see olfactory receptors in nose and these are for smell detection. And in tongue, gustatory receptors are there for taste detection. Gustatory receptors for taste detection. Neuron. As you know, neuron or nerve cell. It is the basic structural and functional unit of nervous system. Neuron is the basic structural and functional unit of nervous system. And the parts of neuron include dendrite, cell body and axon. Dendrite joins the cell body and there you can see inside the cell body, just like that any other cell, it is having nucleus. And there is an elongated branch from the nerve cell that is called axon. Dendrite acquires information and the cell body acquired information travels as an electrical impulse, and in the cell body the acquired information travels as an electrical impulse, and axon, that is the longest part or longest fiber on the cell body, that is called axon. It transmits electrical impulse from cell body to dendrite of next neuron. Longest fiber on the cell body is called axon. It transmits electrical impulse from cell body to dendrite of next neuron. Synapse. It is the gap between the nerve ending of one neuron and dendrite of the other neuron. Synapse is the gap between the nerve ending of one neuron and dendrite of another or other neuron. Here electrical signal is converted into chemical signal for onward transmission. Here electrical signal is converted into chemical signal for onward transmission. Synapse is the junction between two nerve cells consisting of a minute gap across which impulses pass by diffusion of a neurotransmitter. Reflex action. Reflex action is quick, sudden and immediate response of the body to a stimulus. Reflex action is quick, sudden and immediate response of the body to a stimulus. For example, knee jerk, withdrawal of hand on touching hot object, etc. What is reflex arc? The pathway through which nerve impulses pass during reflex action is called reflex arc. The pathway through which nerve impulses pass during reflex action is called reflex arc. Here you can see the pathway of nerve impulse during reflex action. That is here the stimuli, that is stimulus is heat stimulus. When we touch the hot object, here the receptor organ is skin, and from the receptor organ with the help of afferent neuron send information to spinal cord. The information that reaches spinal cord, from there it is processed and with the help of efferent neuron it reaches the effector organ, that is the muscles. It reaches the effector organ. And after receiving the information from spinal cord, muscle contracts. Muscles in our hand, and that is it contracts, and thereby the response occurs. The response is withdrawal of hand. Withdrawal of hand happens. That is, it's on sudden and immediate, quick, sudden and immediate response. That's why we can call it as reflex action. Here, the pathway through which nerve impulses pass during reflex action, we can call it as reflex arc. Here heat is the stimulus, receptor organ is skin, and the information is sent to, that is the stimulus, it is received and the impulse is generated and is sent to spinal cord. There it is processed, and again the what we have to do, that information is received by, that is sent to the effector organ. Here the effector organ is our muscle, and the response occurs. The response is withdrawal of our hand. Next is response. Responses are of mainly three types. The first one is voluntary response, second one involuntary response, and third one that we discussed, that is reflex action. Voluntary responses are controlled by forebrain. Voluntary responses are controlled by forebrain. Our brain, it has three major parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain, that we will learn later in this chapter. And the voluntary responses are controlled by the part of the brain that is called forebrain. The voluntary responses are walking, writing, etc. Involuntary responses are controlled by mid and hindbrain. Midbrain and hindbrain. Involuntary responses are controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. For example, heartbeat, vomiting, respiration, etc. are involuntary responses. Next, the third one is reflex action, that is controlled by spinal cord. For example, withdrawal of hand on touching a hot object. Need of reflex actions. In some situations, such as touching a hot object, pinching, etc., we need to act quickly, otherwise, our body would be harmed. Here, response is generated from spinal cord instead of brain. Here in reflex actions, the response is generated from spinal cord instead of brain.